What happens to unsold new cars? Ever driven past a dealership and wondered why that same ugly purple sedan's been sitting there for 8 months? You're not alone. Today, we're exposing what really happens to unsold new cars, the automotive industry's dirty little secret. And stick around till the end, where we reveal which major manufacturer actually crushed $3 million worth of brand new cars rather than sell them at a discount. Miss this video, and you'll never look at car shopping the same way again. Right now, American dealerships are drowning in unsold inventory. End of 2024 data shows Dodge sitting on over 3,200 unsold Chargers, while Ford's inventory crisis is 63% of their stock being last year's models. That's not just a few cars we're talking about. That's billions of dollars in assets slowly depreciating every single day. But why does this happen in the first place? Isn't the whole point of manufacturing to meet demand? Well, yes and no. Car companies often produce in batches to maximize efficiency, essentially betting on what consumers will want months down the line. Sometimes they guess it right, and sometimes, well, let's just say they're stuck with 10,000 units of a color nobody wants. What's wild is that some overproduction happens on purpose. Manufacturers know empty lots look bad for business and spook consumers. Full lots signal stability, even when those full lots are financial nightmares on wheels. The math gets ugly fast. Each unsold unit costs dealerships between $25 to $35 per day in carrying costs alone. So what's the first line of defense against an overflowing lot? Price cuts, and lots of them. But it's not as simple as slapping a sale sticker on the windshield. Dealerships have turned price reduction into something of an art form. They'll start with subtle discounts, maybe $1,500 off MSRP. Nothing desperate looking, just enough to test if price is the issue. If cars still sit, the real games begin. 0% financing offers, which cost manufacturers a fortune in hidden subsidies. Cashback rebates that get larger by the month. And dealer incentives that never make headlines. I mean, that 0% financing might only be available to buyers with near-perfect credit scores. December is when panic sets in. That's when you suddenly see those "mega sale this weekend only" billboards popping up. By late December, some models sell for $3,000 to $7,000 below dealer cost. The dealership loses money on each sale but cuts their losses before the calendar flips, and those new cars suddenly become last year's models. But what if price isn't the issue? What if it's just that a particular model isn't connecting with the local customer base? That's where a fascinating world of dealer trades comes in. Think of it as automotive matchmaking across state lines. That unwanted Jeep Wrangler in Miami might be exactly what customers in Colorado are clamoring for. So dealerships play a nationwide game of automotive musical chairs, shipping vehicles across the country to find their perfect match. Some vehicles become interstate travelers, moving through 3 or 4 dealerships before finding a buyer. It's not just about geography either. Sometimes it's about timing. Those convertibles gathering dust in Minnesota during February, they might be shipped south to Florida where they're in demand year-round. Meanwhile, the 4x4 trucks that aren't moving in Texas during summer might find new homes in snowier climates as winter approaches. When direct sales fail, unsold new cars get creative second careers. Loaner vehicles. Those cars you get when yours is in the shop are often just unsold inventory being put to work. It's a smart move, really. The dealership gets to provide a service to existing customers while simultaneously allowing potential buyers to test drive a vehicle for an extended period. And after accumulating some miles and history, these vehicles can be sold as certified pre-owned at a discount that finally moves them off the books. The dealer demo scam is brilliant corporate accounting. By designating hard-to-sell units as demonstrators, they can sell them below cost without recording the full loss as a discount. They take a smaller hit on paper while moving stubborn inventory. Service department shuttles, courtesy vehicles, and even managers' demos follow the same pattern. Every dealer employee suddenly driving brand new vehicles? That's not a perk. It's inventory management disguised as employee benefit. Alright guys, if you're finding this information valuable, do me a quick favor and smash that subscribe button right now before we reveal how auction houses and overseas markets play into this shell game. Trust me, the back half of this video gets even shadier. When all else fails, dealers cut their losses at wholesale auctions, the automotive equivalent of a fire sale. Mannheim, Odessa, and other massive auction houses move thousands of vehicles daily. They are dealer-only events where cars sell in 45-second increments. The pace is frantic, the loss is substantial. Dealers typically take 12 to 20% hits selling through auction channels, but it beats the alternative of endless depreciation. The speed is by design. Cars roll through lanes consecutively with auctioneers' rapid-fire calls creating deliberate urgency. Bids come via hand signals, head nods, or electronic paddles. Decide too slowly and that potential bargain vanishes down the lane. These auctions feed used car lots, small rural dealerships, and export markets. That one-owner cream puff on the corner used car lot? Good chance it's a refugee from a new car lot that couldn't move it at a full price. Domestic oversupply often becomes someone else's bargain overseas. Cars rejected by American consumers find eager buyers in markets with different preferences, regulations, and economics. That subcompact American snubbed might be perfect for Asian or European cities. The gas-guzzling V8 sedan might find love in Middle Eastern countries with cheaper fuel. Export specialists buy in bulk at those dealer auctions, handling the logistics of shipping vehicles overseas. They navigate complex import regulations, emissions modifications, and sometimes even convert steering configurations to match local driving patterns. American muscle cars command premium prices in Australia and Europe as exotic imports. Basic pickups become luxury status symbols in developing markets. Car values aren't absolute, they're relative to local market conditions. Sometimes even global redistribution isn't viable. That's when cars go to die, or wait indefinitely. Massive storage facilities exist solely to house automotive overflow. The most famous example sits outside Baltimore, where thousands of imported vehicles wait in automotive limbo. Satellite images show endless rows of identical vehicles baking in the sun, depreciating assets that couldn't find homes. Storage isn't free, of course. These facilities charge $5 to $12 per vehicle daily, with some cars sitting for years. Do the math. 3,000 cars at $8 daily for 6 months equals $4.3 million just to let them gather dust. At some point, the economics becomes unsustainable. That's when the most dramatic solution appears: destruction. Yes, sometimes perfectly good new vehicles are destroyed. This typically happens with models with unfixable design flaws, vehicles caught in regulatory changes, cars so outdated that updating them costs more than their value. Instances where destroying inventory protects brand value better than flooding markets with discounts. In 2009, during the Cash for Clunkers program, Americans watched in horror as perfectly functional engines were destroyed with sodium silicate solution. While those weren't new vehicles, similar fates sometimes await unsold inventory that has depreciated beyond salvageable value. Before destruction becomes necessary, two final lifelines exist: employee sales and fleet buyers. Manufacturer employee pricing programs serve dual purposes. They're both legitimate benefits and inventory relief valves. When the accounting department gets nervous about oversupply, suddenly employee, friends, and family discounts become more generous, and qualification requirements loosen. Fleet sales represent the nuclear option for inventory reduction. Rental companies like Enterprise and Hertz buy hundreds of vehicles at steep discounts. Government contracts and corporate fleets provide similar bulk relief. The manufacturer takes a margin hit but moves volume quickly. The catch? These fleet sales create future problems in the used market. When rental companies dump thousands of identical models after 12 to 18 months, they crush residual values. Manufacturers balance immediate inventory relief against long-term brand value damage. So yeah, that shiny dealer lot hides a complex ecosystem of financial pressure, creative accounting, and desperation. Behind every unsold car sits a ticking financial time bomb that someone, manufacturer, dealer, or eventually consumer, will have to absorb. And that promised shocker at the start of the video? In 2016, Mercedes-Benz crushed numerous brand new unsold vehicles worth approximately $3 million, rather than discount them and damage their luxury brand perception. The official story cited irreparable damage during shipping, but industry insiders confirmed it was purely a brand protection move. That's the reality of unsold inventory. Sometimes destroying value makes more financial sense than selling it cheap. Now you know what really happens behind those perfect dealership rows. And that's a wrap. Which of these car graveyard tactics shocked you the most? Ever haggle with a dealer over a car that you later spotted still sitting there months later? Know anyone who scored an 80% discount on last year's model? Drop your stories below. I want to know. Before you go, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want more, click on our other videos. You won't be disappointed. Thanks for watching.